Tonight, we begin with something peaceful. Congratulations, you've just discovered a moment of calm in 2025. The good news is you're here for a relaxing journey. The less good news is you might fall asleep before the end. Dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. Before we drift on, let's light the way on our dream map. Share your city and the time where you are. Forget the romanticized sagas Hollywood shows you. Let's explore what daily life was really like in the Viking Age, in a way that helps you drift off to sleep. Tonight, we embark upon a journey. It is designed for profound tranquility, a gentle descent into the quiet depths of history. Congratulations, you have just stumbled upon a rare moment of serene calm. This is in the bustling year of 2025, a precious pause in the relentless rush of modern life. The truly good news is that you are here. You are poised on the edge of a deeply relaxing narrative, a story crafted to soothe your weary mind. The gently ironic news, however, is that you might very well drift off into a peaceful slumber. This could happen long before our tale reaches its tranquil conclusion. And that, my friend, is precisely the point. So, dim the harsh overhead lights. Perhaps activate a soft oscillating fan. This will create that gentle rhythmic background hum, a white noise symphony for your senses. Now, let us ease together into tonight's unique historical voyage. Allow the words to carry you effortlessly. Before we truly begin to drift across the vast ocean of time, let's symbolically illuminate our dream map, a quiet ritual of connection. Share, if you wish, the name of your city and the current time where you are, a gentle anchor in the present, before we journey to the past. Forget the grand romanticized sagas and the dramatic, often inaccurate, portrayals Hollywood loves to show you. Tonight, we will explore what daily life was genuinely like in the Viking Age, in a way that is specifically designed to help you effortlessly drift off to a deep, restorative sleep. You wake up, not gently, not to the melodic chirping of birds outside your window, nor to the gentle, customizable hum of your smart alarm clock, but with a sudden, jarring jolt that sends a sharp, insistent ache radiating through your lower back. You find yourself sprawled uncomfortably, almost haphazardly, on a bed that feels suspiciously like a chaotic pile of old, brittle straw, each individual stalk poking and prodding relentlessly at your weary, protesting body. This, you quickly realize, is certainly not the soft, yielding embrace of your luxurious memory foam mattress. This is the harsh, unvarnished reality of the year 950 CE, and your spine creaks with a protesting groan, much like an old wooden door struggling against its long-forgotten rusted hinges. The good news, you quickly realize with a quiet, almost surprised sigh, is that you are undeniably, miraculously alive. Your heart thumping a steady, if slightly panicked rhythm against your ribs, a testament to your continued existence. The bad news, however, settles over you with a heavy, undeniable weight. Your bed is, in fact, nothing more than a haphazard pile of scratchy straw. Your back aches with a profound, persistent throb, as if you had spent the entire night wrestling a particularly grumpy, territorial bear in your sleep. And the very air you breathe carries a complex, almost overwhelming bouquet. It smells faintly of wood smoke, a lingering, ghostly presence from last night's dying fire, mingled inextricably with the unmistakable, pungent scent of unwashed bodies. and the faint, greasy aroma of yesterday's stew, a rich tapestry of ancient odors. Your throat is a parched, arid desert after a long, restless night, demanding moisture with an insistent, almost desperate urgency. That is nowhere immediately apparent in this dim, unfamiliar space. You are in a longhouse, a cavernous, smoky hall that serves as the beating, communal heart of a bustling Viking settlement. A shared hub where dozens of people, along with their various, often vocal livestock, share every precious, limited square foot. This is certainly no quaint Airbnb with a private, sparkling bath. It is a testament to shared air and an absolute, profound absence of personal space, where every single breath you take is a collective, communal experience, a constant reminder of interdependence. The rough, unyielding wool tunic you are wearing scratches relentlessly against your skin, a constant, irritating reminder of your new, less than luxurious reality, a persistent chafing that demands your attention. Its coarse, undyed fibers chafe with every slight movement, a stark, almost brutal contrast to the soft, breathable cottons and luxurious silks you once took for granted in your former life. The dim, smoky light filtering reluctantly and unevenly through the single, small smoke hole high above casts long, dancing shadows across the packed earth floor, making the familiar contours of human forms and household objects seem strangely alien and indistinct, almost dreamlike. The rough, unyielding wool tunic you are wearing scratches relentlessly against your skin, a constant, irritating reminder of your new, less than luxurious reality, a persistent chafing that demands your attention. Its coarse, undyed fibers chafe with every slight movement, a stark, almost brutal contrast to the soft, breathable cottons and luxurious silks you once took for granted in your former life. The dim, smoky light filtering reluctantly and unevenly through the single smoke hole high above casts long, dancing shadows across the packed earth floor, making the familiar contours of human forms and household objects seem strangely alien and indistinct, almost dreamlike. There is no comforting gush of running water here, no familiar sound from a tap, no central heating to chase away the persistent, bone-deep morning chill that seeps into your very marrow, and certainly no privacy settings whatsoever on this communal living arrangement. Forget your carefully brewed morning latte with its frothy top and precise temperature. You are incredibly lucky if you manage to secure even a single lukewarm sip of stale water to soothe your protesting, sandpaper-dry throat. Talk about a dramatic, almost shocking downgrade in amenities, a profound reevaluation of what constitutes basic comfort. Your stomach rumbles with an insistent hollow echo in the dim, smoky light, a profound gnawing emptiness that demands immediate and undeniable attention, a visceral reminder of your precarious existence. Survival, you realize with a sudden, chilling clarity that cuts through the morning haze, isn't merely a concept or a topic for a fascinating documentary here. It is the only game in town, the fundamental, unyielding rule that governs every single, precious moment of your new, unexpected existence, a constant, relentless imperative. Here's the kicker. Every ache, every discomfort, every gnawing hunger pang is a stark, undeniable reminder of a life lived perpetually on the edge, a constant negotiation with the elements. You're not just observing history from a comfortable distance, you're breathing it, tasting its grit, feeling its relentless, unyielding pressure against your very being, The sheer, monumental effort required just to exist, to simply make it through another day, is a revelation, a brutal, visceral education in what it truly means to struggle, to truly earn every breath. The good news? Your senses are sharper than ever before, acutely attuned to every creak of the longhouse timbers, every subtle shift in the smoky air, every distant sound. The bad news? That heightened awareness also means you're acutely, painfully aware of the constant, pervasive chill, the ever-present, insidious threat of disease, and the distinct, unsettling possibility that your next meal isn't guaranteed, a constant low hum of anxiety. There's no DoorDash here, no quick trip to the brightly lit grocery store. Sustenance is earned through sweat, through back-breaking toil, and often through a good deal of sheer, unadulterated luck. You glance around, observing the other inhabitants slowly stirring, their faces etched with a quiet resilience that speaks of generations forged in hardship, their eyes holding a deep, ancient wisdom. Their movements are economical, purposeful, their gazes direct and unwavering, a stark contrast to the distracted, screen-addicted shuffle you're used to in your own time. This isn't a world of endless, overwhelming choices. It's a world of immediate, undeniable needs and stark, often brutal consequences, where every decision carries weight. The very concept of self-care feels like a cruel, almost mocking joke in this environment, a luxurious fantasy utterly out of reach. Your personal hygiene routine consists of whatever water you can find, often cold and murky, and a silent prayer that the lice haven't found a new, permanent home in your hair. There's no luxurious bubble bath, no scented candles, just the raw, unvarnished reality of a body constantly battling the elements and the microscopic invaders, a relentless, often losing fight. Philosophically, you begin to ponder the true, profound meaning of comfort. Is it merely the absence of discomfort, a state of blissful unawareness? Or is it a deeper state of mind achieved through a quiet, unwavering acceptance of the inevitable hardships? Here, comfort is a fleeting, precious luxury, a warm hearth on a biting cold night, a full belly after a successful, arduous hunt. It's not a given, not an entitlement. It's a hard-won victory, cherished in its rarity. The emotional intensity of this existence is palpable, a thick, almost tangible presence in the smoky air. Every interaction, every task carries a profound weight, a significance that modern life often dilutes with its endless distractions. There's a raw, unvarnished honesty to the relationships, a deep, almost primal dependence on one another that transcends casual acquaintance. You are part of a collective, for better or worse, and your very survival is inextricably intertwined with theirs, a profound, undeniable truth. You find yourself craving the simplest things with an almost desperate intensity. A hot, steaming shower, a soft, clean blanket, the quiet solitude of your own private room. These aren't just amenities, you realize. They're symbols of a world where basic needs are met, allowing for the pursuit of higher comforts, for personal reflection. Here, the hierarchy of needs is brutally clear, and you're firmly at the bottom, scrambling for the bare essential necessities of life. The sun, when it finally makes its reluctant presence known through the single smoke hole, offers little warmth, only a pale, watery light that struggles to penetrate the gloom. It's a stark reminder that the day ahead will be long, filled with physical labor and constant vigilance, a relentless demand on your body and spirit. There's no hitting the snooze button, no leisurely morning scroll through social media. The day demands your full, immediate, unwavering attention from the very first moment. This isn't just a historical reenactment, you realize with a jolt. It's a visceral, undeniable immersion into a life stripped bare of modern conveniences. A profound, uncomfortable education. You're learning, in the most uncomfortable, undeniable way possible, what it truly means to be human. When every single moment is a negotiation with survival, a constant, relentless battle. And as your stomach rumbles again, a hollow, insistent echo in the dim light, you realize the negotiation has only just begun. A lifelong contract with hardship. You find yourself shivering, pulling a coarse, scratchy blanket tighter around your shoulders. The rough wool a constant, irritating presence against your skin, a persistent reminder of your new reality. The morning chill bites with an almost personal intensity, seeping into your very bones. A stark and brutal contrast to the cozy, climate-controlled warmth you're accustomed to in your own time, where a simple thermostat dictates your comfort. Here, the cold is a living, breathing entity, a persistent reminder that the world outside your flimsy straw bed is unforgiving, demanding your immediate and full attention. This isn't just a cold morning. It's a visceral, undeniable reminder that every single day in this era is a battle against the relentless elements, a constant negotiation with nature for mere survival. The profound need for a strong, resilient household, for strategic alliances with neighboring families, and for numerous children to work the unforgiving land and carry on the family name, isn't some abstract romantic ideal you might ponder over coffee. Instead, it is a matter of sheer, brutal, and utterly practical survival, a fundamental truth etched into the very fabric of Viking existence.
In this harsh, unyielding era, a household wasn't merely a family unit in the modern sense. It was a complex, self-sustaining economic engine, a miniature fortress against the wilderness and the whims of fate. Every single member, from the youngest wide-eyed child to the oldest, wisest elder, had a clearly defined and crucial role in ensuring the group's collective survival and prosperity. Marriages, therefore, were rarely about finding your soulmate or experiencing a grand, sweeping romance. They were often strategic, meticulously planned arrangements, designed to bolster a family's dwindling resources, expand their influence, and secure their future against an uncertain world. The crackle of the central fire, still struggling to life in the heart of the longhouse, offers only a meager, flickering warmth, its smoke curling lazily towards the single smoke hole high above, a constant, subtle presence. You can hear the low, guttural murmur of conversations, a strange and unfamiliar mix of Old Norse, and the surprisingly loud bleating of sheep, their calls echoing from the animal pens at the far end of the cavernous hall. These sounds weave together into a rich tapestry of communal life, a constant hum that underscores the complete absence of personal space or quiet solitude, a symphony of shared existence. Forget your modern notions of Netflix and chill on a lazy weekend, a luxurious escape into entertainment. Here, the prevailing philosophy is unequivocally shiver and survive, a stark and often uncomfortable reality that demands your full attention. Your contemporary idea of a strong household probably involves a robust Wi-Fi signal, a fully stocked refrigerator, and perhaps a smart home assistant to manage your daily tasks. Theirs, however, involved enough calloused hands to tirelessly plow the fields, enough skilled warriors to fend off opportunistic raiders, and enough resilient bodies to simply endure the relentless hardships of a life lived on the edge. As the first pale hints of dawn reluctantly creep through the smoke hole, painting the smoky air in muted shades of gray and amber, your thoughts, with an almost primal urgency, turn to the most basic and insistent need of all: food. Your stomach, which has been rumbling with a hollow, persistent echo since you first awoke, now demands immediate and undeniable attention, a stark reminder of the precariousness of existence in this ancient world, a constant gnawing imperative. You observe the other inhabitants stirring, their movements economical and purposeful, already engaged in the day's first tasks, their faces etched with a quiet resilience that speaks of generations of hardship. A few figures are gathered around the still smoldering embers of the central fire, preparing what appears to be a meager breakfast of dried fish and coarse, dark bread, its texture likely as rough as the wool tunic you're wearing. There's no brightly lit grocery store aisle here, no endless array of choices, just the hard-won sustenance that keeps body and soul together, a stark contrast to the abundance you once took for granted. The realization dawns on you with a chilling clarity. Food isn't just something you acquire with a quick trip to the store. It's something you earn, through sweat, through toil, and often through sheer unyielding luck. There's an unspoken expectation of contribution, a silent understanding that every able body must pull its weight, must contribute to the collective effort of survival, a fundamental truth of communal living. Marriage, you begin to understand, isn't just about companionship. It's about finding a partner who can contribute equally to the household's labor, a pragmatic alliance forged in the crucible of necessity. As the longhouse slowly awakens, you start to notice the subtle social dynamics at play, the quiet interactions between individuals, the unspoken rules that govern this communal existence. Reputation, even in these small everyday exchanges, seems to be everything. A carefully guarded currency in a world where trust and standing can mean the difference between prosperity and destitution. The glances exchanged, the tones of voice, the way tasks are divided, all speak volumes about a society built on interdependence and a keen awareness of one's place within the collective. You find yourself pondering the profound shift in values, the stark simplicity and brutal honesty of needs in this ancient world. The complexities of modern life, with its endless distractions and manufactured desires, seem utterly alien here, replaced by the raw, undeniable imperatives of hunger, cold, and the constant struggle for existence. As the longhouse slowly fills with the sounds of a new day, a sense of quiet resignation settles over you, a reluctant acceptance of this harsh reality, as the negotiation with survival truly begins. You drag yourself up from the rough straw, your muscles protesting with a symphony of aches, each joint creaking like an old longboat straining against a furious storm, a chorus of discomfort. The persistent chill of the longhouse still clings to your skin, a stark reminder that the day demands your immediate attention, leaving no room for the leisurely stretch or the gentle easing into consciousness you once knew. It is time to face the relentless demands of this ancient world, and more importantly, to secure the meager sustenance that will fuel your body for the arduous hours ahead. As the communal hearth slowly awakens with a renewed crackle, you find yourself joining the quiet, purposeful movements of others,
helping to prepare what passes for breakfast in this unforgiving era. A meager offering of dried fish, its scent pungent and briny, is laid out alongside thick, coarse bread, a far cry from the gourmet brunches and artisanal pastries of your former life. This isn't a meal designed for pleasure or indulgence. It is pure, unadulterated sustenance, a stark and simple necessity for survival, highlighting the profound interconnectedness of everyone within these smoky walls. In the Viking Age, food preservation was not a culinary art form, but a critical, life-sustaining science, with drying, salting, and smoking serving as the ingenious methods to cheat the lean months, to extend the bounty of summer. The bread, often a dense, dark loaf made from hardy barley or rye, possessed a robust, earthy flavor, a stark contrast to the fluffy white loaves that grace modern tables. And every single calorie it provided was a precious commodity, meticulously earned and carefully consumed. This daily ritual underscores a brutal truth. Every bite is a testament to collective effort and the constant struggle against scarcity. The pungent, almost overwhelming smell of the dried fish now fills your nostrils, mingling with the deep, earthy aroma of the coarse bread and the ever-present scent of wood smoke, creating a unique olfactory tapestry of Viking life, a primal perfume. As you break off a piece, the gritty texture of the bread is immediately apparent, a rough, unyielding sensation against your fingers and tongue, serving as a constant, tangible reminder of the hard labor and unforgiving land from which it was painstakingly coaxed. This isn't just food. It's a story of survival, baked into every dense crumb, a testament to resilience.
Breakfast of Champions, you muse with a wry internal chuckle, takes on an entirely new and profoundly ironic meaning when your morning options are essentially limited to fish jerky and a brick, a truly unglamorous start to the day. You thought your modern diet, with its endless restrictions and fleeting fads, was challenging. But here, the concept of dietary choice is a luxurious fantasy, replaced by the stark reality of consuming whatever keeps you alive. Talk about a truly restrictive eating plan, where every meal is a testament to necessity, not preference, a brutal lesson in culinary pragmatism. As you slowly chew the dense, unyielding bread, your mind begins to connect the dots between this communal meal and the broader social fabric of the Viking world, particularly the surprising laws of love and marriage. You realize with a sudden, piercing clarity that marriage here isn't about finding your soulmate over a leisurely avocado toast brunch or swiping right on a dating app. It is, first and foremost, about finding a partner who can literally pull their weight, contributing essential labor and resources to the household. Here's the kicker. Love was a bonus, a fortunate accident, never the primary prerequisite for forging a lifelong bond. The very act of preparing this simple breakfast, a shared endeavor among the Longhouse inhabitants, underscores the fundamental truth that a strong household is the bedrock of Viking society, a self-sufficient unit where every hand is vital. A partner who could skillfully tend the fields, mend the nets, or manage the livestock was far more valuable than one who merely offered charming conversation or a poetic gaze. This pragmatic approach to partnership was not born of a lack of emotion, but from the harsh, undeniable imperatives of a world where survival hinged on collective strength and unwavering contribution. You observe the quiet efficiency of the women and men around you, their movements honed by years of necessity, each person understanding their role in the intricate dance of daily life, a stark contrast to the often individualistic pursuits of your own time. The emotional intensity of these interactions is subtle yet profound, a deep-seated understanding that their fates are inextricably linked, their very existence dependent on mutual effort and unwavering loyalty. This isn't just a family, it's a small self-governing economy, a testament to human resilience. The sounds of the longhouse slowly swell around you, the low murmur of voices, the distant bleating of sheep, the rhythmic thud of an axe outside, all blending into a symphony of purposeful activity, a constant reminder of the vibrant, demanding life that pulses within these walls. As you finish your meal, the lingering taste of salt and grain on your tongue, you feel a profound sense of the weight of history, a deep appreciation for the sheer grit it took to simply exist in this world. So, as the morning light strengthens, painting the smoky air in hues of pale gold, you begin to understand that the shocking laws of love and marriage in the Viking Age were not arbitrary rules, but rather deeply practical responses to an unforgiving environment. They were laws forged in the crucible of necessity, designed to ensure the survival and prosperity of the family unit, a testament to a time when every partnership was, in essence, a strategic alliance against the relentless forces of nature. You settle into the rhythm of the longhouse, the day's work already calling, a quiet acceptance settling over you, as you prepare to navigate this world where love was a luxury and marriage a profound and undeniable necessity. You find yourself, almost without conscious thought, elbow deep in the relentless rhythm of daily chores, the rough, unyielding texture of wooden tools a constant presence in your hands, a familiar weight. There is no escaping this communal dance of labor. Every single person, from the youngest child capable of fetching water to the oldest elder mending nets by the fire, contributes their strength and skill to the collective survival of the longhouse. Your day begins not with a choice, but with an immediate, undeniable demand for your physical presence and unwavering effort, a stark contrast to the leisurely mornings of your former life. Marriage in this unforgiving Viking Age was not about the romantic dinners and shared dreams you might envision from your modern world, where emotional connection often takes precedence over practicalities. Instead, it was a profound, often brutal contract built upon shared burdens and mutual productivity, a pragmatic alliance forged in the crucible of necessity. Your partner wasn't merely your emotional support or your confidant. They were, in essence, your coworker, your business associate, and, most critically, your indispensable survival partner in a world that offered no quarter. The division of labor was as clear and unyielding as the Norse winter, a system honed by generations of harsh experience. Women, with an efficiency born of constant practice, managed the intricate workings of the household, a monumental task that encompassed the meticulous preparation and preservation of food, the laborious production of textiles from raw wool, and often the supervision of any thralls or younger family members. Meanwhile, the men were responsible for the demanding outdoor pursuits, the backbreaking work of farming the stubborn land, the perilous hunt for sustenance, the dangerous voyages of trade, and, when necessary, the brutal realities of warfare. A truly successful marriage, you quickly realize, was not measured by affection, but by the seamless, productive division of these vital labors, ensuring the very continuation of the family line. As you move through the longhouse, the damp earth clinging stubbornly to your rough leather boots with each purposeful step. The air is thick with the pervasive scent of wood smoke, mingling with the earthy aroma of stored grains, and the faint metallic tang of sweat. The distant rhythmic clang of a blacksmith's hammer echoes through the village, a steady, reassuring beat against the backdrop of low murmurs and the occasional bleating of sheep. Each sound a tangible thread in the rich tapestry of this demanding existence. The cold, smooth feel of a stone hearth against your hand as you pass offers a fleeting moment of sensory contrast, a brief anchor in the constant flow of activity. Talk about a prenuptial agreement. In your modern world, such a document might meticulously outline the division of assets, the fate of a vacation home, or the custody of a beloved pet. Here, however, the unspoken contract was far more fundamental, far more visceral. It wasn't about who got the house in a divorce. It was about who could churn butter the fastest without complaint, who could mend a fishing net with the most skill, or who possessed the unwavering stamina to endure a long, brutal winter. Your contemporary relationship goals just got a serious, unromantic reality check, stripped down to the bare, essential bones of survival. As you step outside into the crisp, biting air, the sounds of the longhouse fading slightly behind you, you begin to understand that while individual effort is undeniably important, the collective reputation of your family, and indeed the entire village, is everything. Every action, every word, every contribution, or lack thereof, is observed, weighed, and remembered by those around you, shaping the very fabric of your social standing. This isn't a world of fleeting online personas. It's a community where trust is earned through consistent, visible contribution, and where a good name is a currency more valuable than silver. The sun, a pale, watery disk in the vast gray sky, casts long, shifting shadows across the rough-hewn timber of the surrounding buildings, highlighting the stark simplicity of this ancient settlement. You observe the quiet, almost imperceptible nods of recognition exchanged between villagers, the subtle cues that speak volumes about alliances, respect, and shared history. In a society where formal laws are often less impactful than communal consensus, your reputation is your shield, your sword, and your most potent bargaining chip, determining who will stand with you when the inevitable hardships arrive. As the day wears on, the relentless rhythm of labor settling deep into your bones, you find yourself reflecting on the profound differences between this world and your own. There are no carefully curated social media profiles here, no anonymous online interactions, no fleeting trends to chase. Instead, every relationship is forged in the crucible of shared experience, every bond tested by the harsh realities of a life lived on the edge of survival. The weight of this understanding settles over you, a quiet, undeniable truth that reshapes your entire perception of human connection. The scent of damp earth and distant wood smoke fills your lungs as you pause for a moment, leaning against a rough-hewn post, watching the purposeful movements of the villagers. The sounds of their work, the low hum of conversation, the distant bleating of livestock, all blend into a soothing, almost hypnotic symphony of life, a constant reminder of the interconnectedness that defines this era. You realize that in this world, where every hand is needed and every contribution counts, the shocking laws of love and marriage are not arbitrary restrictions, but rather the very scaffolding upon which survival is built, a testament to the enduring human spirit in the face of overwhelming odds. You push aside the heavy hide flap, stepping out of the smoky longhouse and into the crisp, invigorating embrace of the morning air. Your eyes, still adjusting to the pale light, blink against the vast open sky, a stark contrast to the dim interior you just left. The village immediately surrounds you, a vibrant tapestry of purposeful activity, a symphony of sounds and sights that feel both profoundly alien and strangely, undeniably familiar. A deep breath fills your lungs with the cool, clean scent of the awakening world, a welcome change from the stale air within. As you begin to move through the bustling lanes, every glance exchanged, every hushed conversation overheard, every small transaction observed, feels like a public performance. Here, your very existence is under constant, subtle scrutiny, a stark departure from the anonymity of your former life. Reputation, you quickly understand, is not merely a concept, but a tangible currency, more valuable and far more potent than any silver coin in your pouch. It dictates trust, opens doors, and silently judges your worth in this tightly knit community. Public opinion, known as era or honor, was truly paramount in this unforgiving Viking society, a social force shaping every aspect of daily interaction. A good reputation could effortlessly secure vital alliances, smooth the path for crucial trade deals, and even offer a powerful unspoken shield of protection against potential adversaries. Conversely, a tarnished name, a whisper of dishonor, could swiftly lead to ostracization, economic ruin, or even a fate far worse than mere social discomfort. This ancient social contract was built on visible deeds, not hidden intentions. The earthy, damp smell of freshly turned soil now mixes with the faint, musky scent of animal hides drying slowly in the gentle morning sun, creating a rich, primal perfume. You hear the low, guttural murmur of conversations drifting from nearby homesteads, punctuated by the distant, plaintive bleating of sheep from a hidden pasture. The rhythmic, satisfying thud of an axe splitting stubborn wood provides a steady, grounding beat to the village's awakening, a constant reminder of the relentless labor required for survival. The rough, uneven ground beneath your worn leather boots offers a tangible connection to this ancient, unyielding land. Forget your carefully curated Instagram feed, where every moment is filtered, perfected, and presented for optimal public consumption. Here, your reputation is meticulously built on actual, observable deeds, not on carefully constructed digital illusions. And trust me when I say, there is absolutely no convenient undo button for a public faux pas. No quick delete for a misstep that could ripple through the entire community. Talk about living life without a safety net, where every action carries genuine, immediate weight. You quickly learn that this isn't just about your own individual standing in the village, your personal honor, or your perceived worth among your peers. Here's the kicker. Your every action, every success, and every failure directly reflects upon the honor of your entire family, a collective entity whose fate is inextricably linked to your own. Your family's name is a shared banner, either proudly upheld or tragically stained by the conduct of its members. A single act of perceived cowardice, a broken promise, or a failure to contribute could cast a long, dark shadow not only over you, but over your parents, your siblings, and even your distant cousins. This profound interconnectedness means that personal shame becomes communal burden, and individual glory elevates the entire lineage, a concept far removed from modern individualism. The weight of this collective responsibility settles heavily upon your shoulders, a constant, unspoken pressure to uphold the family's good name. As the sun climbs higher, casting longer, sharper shadows across the longhouse roofs, you feel the subtle shift within you, a quiet acceptance of these ancient, unyielding social laws. The relentless pursuit of individual validation, so common in your former life, seems utterly trivial in a world where collective honor is the very bedrock of survival. You find yourself settling into the demanding rhythm of the village, understanding that in this era, the shocking laws of reputation and family honor are not just rules, but the very threads that weave together the intricate, resilient tapestry of Viking life. Imagine, if you will, a world where a single misstep by your cousin could mean your own trade routes are suddenly closed, your marriage prospects dwindle, or even worse, your family is denied aid in a harsh winter. There's no escaping the ripple effect. Every individual is a vital link in a chain that can either lift or drag down the entire clan. The good news, you're never truly alone. The bad news, neither are your mistakes. Privacy, that cherished modern luxury, is an utterly foreign concept here. Your life is an open book, read and interpreted by every eye in the village, from the youngest child to the oldest elder. There are no closed doors, no anonymous online forums to vent your frustrations. Every word spoken, every action taken, echoes through the collective consciousness. You learn to choose your words with the precision of a skilled smith, knowing their weight can forge or shatter alliances. The constant pressure to perform, to uphold an unblemished facade, is a psychological burden unlike anything you've ever known. It makes your past anxieties about social media likes and follower counts seem like quaint, childish concerns. Here, the stakes are real, tangible, often life or death. And the judgment is delivered not by algorithms, but by the very people you depend on for survival. It's a brutal, beautiful lesson in authentic living, stripped bare of all pretense. This isn't just about avoiding shame. It's about actively cultivating a legacy, a story that will be told and retold long after you've joined your ancestors in Valhalla. Your honor is your immortality, a whisper carried on the wind, a testament to a life lived with courage and integrity. You begin to understand that true freedom here isn't found in individual expression, but in the unwavering commitment to a shared ideal, a collective destiny. The very air hums with the weight of ancestral expectations, a silent chorus urging you onward. You find yourself acutely aware of the watchful eyes, the subtle nods, the hushed whispers that seem to follow your every movement through the bustling lanes of the village. Each action you take, every word you utter, is meticulously weighed and judged by a community that leaves no room for anonymity, a stark contrast to the fleeting, forgotten interactions of your former life. The very air hums with an unspoken expectation, a constant pressure to conform to the ancient, unyielding standards of this demanding world. A woman's honor, a man's standing, these are not merely personal attributes, but meticulously guarded treasures, held sacred not just by the individuals themselves, but by their entire kin, a collective entity whose fate is intertwined with yours. A slight against one, a perceived insult or a moment of weakness, is instantly understood as a slight against all, a ripple effect that can quickly escalate into a torrent of communal disapproval. Your personal integrity becomes a shared banner, either proudly unfurled or tragically dragged through the mud, depending on your every choice. The ancient sagas, those epic tales whispered around crackling fires on long winter nights, are filled with chilling examples of bitter feuds and bloody conflicts, all arising from seemingly minor insults to honor, proving that words here carry the weight of steel. For women, chastity and unwavering fidelity were inextricably tied to the very fabric of family honor, a sacred trust that, once broken, could shatter a lineage. Meanwhile, for men, raw bravery in battle and unwavering generosity towards their kin were the shining hallmarks of a respected name, ensuring their place in the collective memory. As you lean against the rough-hewn timber of a nearby longhouse, the cold, smooth feel of a stone hearth against your hand offers a fleeting moment of tangible reality amidst the swirling social currents. The distant, rhythmic lapping of water against longboats in the fjord provides a constant, soothing backdrop to the ceaseless hum of village life, a reminder of the vast, untamed world beyond these wooden walls. You observe the subtle dance of power and respect, the unspoken language of a society where every glance holds meaning, every gesture a silent declaration. Here's the kicker. Your personal brand in this unforgiving era isn't about your carefully curated LinkedIn profile, showcasing your professional achievements and carefully chosen endorsements. Instead, it's about something far more visceral, far more immediate. Whether your family, your entire clan, would be willing to take up arms and go to war for you, to defend your name and avenge any perceived slight. Suddenly, that online argument you had last week, those fleeting digital disagreements, seem utterly trivial, don't they? This intense, all-consuming focus on family honor has profound and often surprising implications, especially when it comes to matters of the heart, or rather, matters of strategic alliance. Love, that elusive, often fickle emotion, is a luxury here, a bonus if it happens to bloom amidst the harsh realities of survival, but never the primary driver of a union. Instead, marriages are meticulously negotiated contracts, binding not just two individuals, but two powerful families, merging assets, influence, and, most importantly, their collective honor. The weight of this constant scrutiny, this unwavering public gaze, settles deep into your bones. A psychological burden unlike anything you've ever known in your modern individualistic world. There are no anonymous escapes, no quiet corners where your actions go unnoticed. Every interaction is a performance, every decision a public declaration. It makes your past anxieties about social media likes and follower counts seem like quaint, childish concerns, stripped bare of all genuine consequence. This intense, all-consuming focus on family honor has profound and often surprising implications, especially when it comes to matters of the heart, or rather, matters of strategic alliance. Instead, marriages are meticulously negotiated contracts, binding not just two individuals, but two powerful families, merging assets, influence, and, most importantly, their collective honor. The weight of this constant scrutiny, this unwavering public gaze, settles deep into your bones. A psychological burden unlike anything you've ever known in your modern individualistic world. There are no anonymous escapes, no quiet corners where your actions go unnoticed. Every interaction is a performance, every decision a public declaration. It makes your past anxieties about social media likes and follower counts seem like quaint, childish concerns, stripped bare of all genuine consequence. You begin to understand that this isn't merely about avoiding shame or upholding a facade. It's about actively cultivating a legacy, a story that will be told and retold long after you've joined your ancestors in Valhalla. Your honor is your immortality, a whisper carried on the wind, a testament to a life lived with courage and integrity, a beacon for future generations. True freedom here isn't found in individual expression, but in the unwavering commitment to a shared ideal, a collective destiny that transcends personal desires. As the sun begins its slow descent, painting the vast gray sky in hues of muted orange and deep purple, you feel the day's exhaustion settle deep in your muscles, a familiar ache that has become a constant companion. The sounds of the Viking village begin to soften, the clang of the blacksmith's hammer replaced by the gentle murmur of evening conversations, the distant bleating of sheep a lullaby against the encroaching darkness. You find a quiet spot near the communal fire, the warmth a welcome embrace against the evening chill, and watch the flickering flames dance. You've navigated a world where reputation is currency, where honor is life itself, and where every action carries the weight of generations. A world without dating apps, without carefully curated online personas, without even the simple luxury of a truly private moment. As the embers glow, casting long dancing shadows across the faces of your fellow villagers, you reflect on the profound, shocking differences and the enduring, undeniable strength of a people bound by such ancient, powerful laws. The good news? You're part of something bigger, a tapestry woven with shared history and mutual protection. The bad news? Every thread is under constant inspection, and a single frayed edge can unravel everything, leaving you exposed to social ostracization. There's no escaping to a different city, no reinventing yourself with a new social circle. Your past, your family's past, is etched into the very stones of this village. This permanence feels both suffocating and strangely comforting, a tether to a lineage demanding loyalty and sacrifice. You ponder the sheer weight of such a life, where personal desires often take a back seat to the collective good. It's a stark reminder that while your modern world champions the self, this ancient one elevates the clan, the unbreakable bond of blood. You find yourself drawn to a quiet corner of the longhouse, where the flickering firelight casts long, dancing shadows across the rough-hewn timber walls, making the ancient carvings seem to writhe with a life of their own. There, nestled amongst a pile of worn furs that offer little comfort, you overhear a hushed conversation between two elders, their voices low and serious, like the distant rumble of thunder on a summer's eve, carrying the weight of generations. Their weathered faces, etched with the wisdom of countless harsh winters and the burdens of leadership, are turned towards each other, their eyes narrowed in contemplation. And the topic, you quickly discern, is a marriage arrangement, a delicate negotiation unfolding in the smoky communal air. Here's the kicker, a truth that settles deep in your modern bones with a surprising, almost chilling weight. A woman's family in this unforgiving age had a significant, often absolute, say in her marriage, viewing it not as a blossoming romantic union, but as a meticulously planned strategic alliance. Love, that elusive, often fickle emotion you once chased so ardently through countless dating apps and fleeting encounters, was a luxury here, a happy accident if it happened to bloom amidst the harsh realities of survival, but never, ever a prerequisite for forging a family. These unions were meticulously arranged to forge powerful political alliances, to consolidate valuable land holdings, or to strengthen crucial economic ties between influential families, weaving a complex tapestry of power and mutual benefit that secured the clan's future. While the bride's consent was sometimes sought, a polite formality in many cases, a nod of quiet acceptance rather than enthusiastic agreement, the family's collective decision, guided by generations of pragmatic wisdom and the unwavering pursuit of stability, was almost always paramount, overriding any fleeting personal desires. Talk about a prenuptial agreement that truly dictated your entire future, long before you even knew what a future might hold. The pervasive scent of wood smoke, thick and comforting like a heavy wool blanket on a biting night, yet also a constant, subtle reminder of the harsh realities of life, clings to everything, a primal perfume of existence that permeates your very clothes and hair. Around you, the low murmur of conversations, a rich tapestry of daily life, weaves through the longhouse, punctuated by the occasional bleating of sheep from their pens at the far end, the soft rustle of straw, and the steady, rhythmic crackle of the central fire, a constant, living presence that offers both warmth and a focal point for communal gathering. Forget swiping right for love, endlessly scrolling through carefully curated profiles in search of your soulmate, agonizing over the perfect opening line. Here, your parents were essentially your ancient Viking matchmakers, and their sophisticated algorithm was entirely focused on land, livestock, and political leverage. There were no charming first dates, no awkward coffee meetups, just a cold, hard assessment of assets and influence, a brutal efficiency that would make any modern dating app developer weep with envy, or perhaps marvel at its sheer practicality. This isn't just about two individuals finding a partner, a soul to share their journey with. It's about two powerful families merging their assets, their influence, and most importantly, their collective honor, sealed by a very specific kind of contract, a binding agreement that transcended mere personal affection and secured the future of generations. The weight of this collective responsibility, this shared destiny, settles heavily upon your shoulders, a constant unspoken pressure to uphold the family's good name, a concept far removed from the fleeting, self-centered individualism of your former world. You reflect on the sheer audacity of it all, the profound difference in priorities that shapes every decision, every interaction. In your former life, the pursuit of individual happiness, of finding the one who completed you, was often elevated above all else, a romantic ideal celebrated in countless stories and songs, a personal quest. Here, however, the very notion seems almost frivolous, a luxury that this demanding world simply cannot afford, where survival and the strength of the clan are the only true currencies, the only goals that truly matter. The rough wool of your tunic scratches gently against your skin, a constant, tangible reminder of the physical realities of this existence, a stark contrast to the soft, climate-controlled fabrics of your past, a subtle discomfort that has become a familiar part of your daily rhythm. You watch as a young woman, perhaps the very subject of the elders' hushed discussion, moves gracefully through the longhouse, her face a mask of quiet determination, her eyes holding a depth of understanding that speaks volumes of the life she is destined to lead, a life of duty and unwavering commitment. As the evening deepens, and the sounds of the village begin to soften, the distant bleating of sheep fading into the background,
replaced by the gentle whisper of the wind through the smoke hole. You feel the day's exhaustion settle deep in your bones, a familiar ache that has become a constant companion. You've navigated a world where love was a luxury and marriage a necessity, a world without dating apps, without prenuptial agreements, without even the simple, cherished luxury of a clean, private space to call your own. So tonight, when you slip into your clean bed, under soft sheets, in a quiet room, remember the Viking Age. Remember the harsh realities, the surprising freedoms, and the sheer grit it took to find a partner, build a family, and simply survive against overwhelming odds. And be grateful for the simple, shocking comforts of your own time, where the choice of who you love and how you live is, for the most part, truly your own. A freedom that would have been unimaginable to those who lived and loved in the shadow of the Longhouse. You find yourself drawn to the central fire, its golden light dancing across the faces of the gathered villagers, a welcome warmth against the persistent chill that always seems to cling to the Longhouse air. There a young couple stands, their shoulders almost touching, radiating a palpable nervousness that hums like a taut bowstring in the smoky atmosphere. This is no casual gathering, no festive celebration, but a betrothal, a solemn declaration of intent that will forever alter the course of their lives and the fortunes of their respective families. Their hands are clasped tightly, a silent, almost desperate testament to the immense gravity of this pivotal moment, a stark contrast to the casual ease of modern commitments. You quickly understand that marriage in this ancient world is not about whispered promises of eternal love or the pursuit of individual happiness. It is a profound legal contract, a mund, meticulously negotiated between two families. This intricate agreement involves a substantial bride price, a payment from the groom's family to the bride's, alongside a dowry or haemophilia brought by the bride from her own kin. It is a powerful merger of assets and influence, a strategic alliance far more intricate than any modern corporate merger, designed to strengthen the collective rather than merely unite two hearts. The Munder, you learn, serves a dual purpose, a pragmatic solution born from the harsh realities of survival in this unforgiving land. It acts as a tangible compensation for the bride's family, acknowledging the loss of a productive member from their household, a skilled pair of hands that contributed directly to their daily sustenance and prosperity. More importantly, this payment functions as a vital form of security for the wife, a financial safeguard in a world where personal vulnerability is a constant, looming shadow, ensuring her standing and protection within her new family. The warmth of the central fire, a vibrant orange against the dimness, feels like a gentle caress on your face, a fleeting respite from the biting cold that permeates the rough wool of your tunic. You observe the young couple, their nervous fidgeting a universal language of apprehension, their clasped hands a silent plea for strength and reassurance in the face of such monumental change. Here's the kicker. Your engagement ring might be a sparkling diamond, a symbol of romantic devotion, but theirs is a literal payment for a human being, a stark, undeniable transaction. Suddenly, your own wedding planning, with its endless Pinterest boards and seating chart dilemmas, seems a lot less complicated, doesn't it? This bride price is far from a mere symbolic gesture or a quaint historical custom.
It is a crucial foundational element woven deeply into the financial and social fabric of every Viking marriage, a testament to the pragmatic values of this era. It underscores a world where every individual's worth is measured not just by their spirit, but by their tangible contribution to the household, their ability to endure, and their capacity to strengthen the collective. You reflect on the profound implications of such a system, where personal affection is secondary to the unwavering pursuit of stability and survival, a stark contrast to the romantic narratives that define your own time. The haemophilia, the dowry brought by the bride, further solidifies this intricate economic dance, often comprising land, livestock, or valuable household goods, all contributing to the new couple's shared prosperity. This isn't just about two individuals starting a life together. It's about two lineages intertwining, their futures inextricably linked by shared resources and mutual obligation. The elders, their faces grim with the weight of responsibility, oversee this exchange, understanding that the success of this union will echo through generations, impacting the very survival of their respective clans. The air is thick with the earthy scent of damp straw and the faint, musky aroma of unwashed bodies, a constant reminder of the raw, unvarnished reality of life in the longhouse. You feel a strange mix of awe and unease, witnessing a ceremony so alien yet so fundamentally human in its desire for security and continuity. Talk about a cultural shock. In your world, marriage is often a celebration of individual choice and emotional connection. But here, it is a calculated gamble, a strategic maneuver in the relentless game of survival, where every piece on the board is a living, breathing person. As the betrothal concludes and the young couple retreats into the murmuring crowd, you feel the day's profound lessons settle deep within your modern consciousness. The flickering firelight casts long, dancing shadows across the rough-hewn walls, and the low hum of conversation begins to lull you, a comforting, ancient rhythm. You find a quiet spot, pulling a coarse wool blanket tighter around your shoulders, the scratchy texture a familiar companion. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, you carry the weight of this understanding, that love, in its purest, most unvarnished form, was often forged not in romantic declarations, but in the shared struggle for existence, a shocking truth that resonates with a quiet, undeniable power. The good news? You're not expected to bring a herd of cattle to your next family dinner. The bad news? Your ancestors probably did, and they didn't even get a gift registry out of it. Imagine trying to explain that to your wedding planner. Yes, we'd like to register for a few longhorned cows and perhaps a fertile plot of land. This isn't just a historical footnote. It's a stark mirror reflecting the fundamental human need for security, a need that transcends time and culture. You feel a pang of empathy for these young souls, their personal desires likely secondary to the collective good, their future meticulously charted by the hands of their elders. It's a heavy burden, yet one they carry with an unspoken dignity. The scent of wood smoke, now a comforting blanket, mingling with the faint, sweet aroma of mead being passed around, a small concession to celebration after the serious business is done. You close your eyes for a moment, trying to truly inhabit their world, to feel the weight of those expectations, the silent promise of a lifetime bound by duty and survival. It's a love story written not in hearts, but in ledgers and land deeds. You listen intently as the terms of the betrothal are discussed, the low, guttural voices of the elders weaving a complex tapestry of numbers and agreements. each word laid out with meticulous, almost ritualistic detail, echoing through the smoky longhouse. This is serious business, you quickly realize, far removed from the casual declarations of love you are accustomed to. A weighty negotiation that will bind not just two individuals, but entire families for generations to come, shaping their very destinies. The air, already thick with the pervasive scent of wood smoke and damp earth, seems to hum with the unspoken gravity of the moment. Every glance and gesture carrying profound, almost sacred significance in this ancient world. The munder, or bride price, emerges as a central pillar of this ancient contract, a significant transfer of tangible wealth from the groom's family to the bride's, a concept that feels both alien and strangely logical in this harsh, pragmatic world. It wasn't about buying a wife, you understand, a crude transaction of ownership that would be abhorrent in your time, but rather a vital compensation to her family for the undeniable loss of a productive member from their household, a skilled pair of hands that contributed directly to their daily sustenance and collective prosperity. More profoundly, this payment served as a crucial provision for her future security, a financial anchor in a new family, ensuring her standing and protection in a society where individual vulnerability was a constant looming shadow, a stark contrast to modern safety nets. This munder could manifest in various forms, you learn, a testament to the diverse wealth of the land, consisting of fertile plots of land, sturdy livestock, gleaming silver, or other valuable goods meticulously chosen for their enduring worth and practical utility. You imagine the careful assessment, the weighing of each item, a far cry from the digital transfers and abstract financial instruments of your own era, where wealth often feels intangible. Each piece of the munder represented not just monetary value, but a promise of sustenance, a tangible contribution to the new household's ability to thrive against the relentless challenges of nature. It was legally distinct from the dowry, you discover, a separate and equally important financial instrument, each with its own specific purpose and implications within the intricate legal framework of Viking society. This munder was often held by the wife's father or a trusted guardian on her behalf, a safeguard against unforeseen hardships or the vagaries of fate, ensuring that the bride, even in her new home, retained a degree of economic independence. This surprising detail reveals a nuanced understanding of a woman's rights and security, a progressive element in a world that often appears brutally simple. The low murmur of voices continues, a rhythmic drone punctuated by the occasional, satisfying clink of a silver coin being examined, its metallic ring echoing softly in the cavernous longhouse, a tangible symbol of the wealth being exchanged, a sound that resonates with ancient power. The pervasive smell of damp earth, a constant companion in this ancient dwelling, mingling with the ever-present wood smoke, thick and resinous, grounding you firmly in this distant, visceral world, a world where every sensation feels sharper, more immediate, more real than any digital simulation. You can almost taste the cold, damp air, feel the rough texture of the wooden benches beneath you, a stark contrast to the cushioned comfort of your former life, a constant, subtle reminder of your temporal displacement. Imagine your modern in-laws, you muse with a wry internal chuckle, negotiating your worth like a particularly stubborn used car, meticulously listing your attributes and perceived flaws for all to hear, a public appraisal of your very being. She's got good childbearing hips, strong arms for weaving, and a surprisingly keen eye for spotting a good fishing spot, you can almost hear them declare, their voices booming with ancestral pride. We'll take 3 prime cows, a sturdy silver arm ring, and perhaps a promising young thrall for good measure. A fair exchange for such a valuable asset. Talk about a prenuptial agreement that truly puts a price on your head. Making your own anxieties about wedding costs and gift registries seem utterly trivial, almost comically absurd. But the financial transactions, you quickly realize, didn't stop there. For this intricate economic dance was a two-sided affair, a delicate balance of contributions and expectations, a reciprocal gesture of commitment. The bride's family also had their equally significant part to play in this elaborate exchange, a reciprocal gesture that further solidified the bonds between the two merging lineages, ensuring a shared investment in the future, a mutual pledge of prosperity. This wasn't just a one-way street of wealth transfer, but a carefully choreographed ballet of assets, each family contributing to the collective strength and enduring prosperity of the newly formed union, a testament to their intertwined destinies. As the discussions slowly wind down and the weight of these ancient customs settles upon you, a profound philosophical reflection begins to take root in your modern mind. You realize that while the methods were starkly different, the underlying human desire for security, for stability, for the continuation of one's lineage remains a constant across the vast chasm of time. Love, in this context, was not a prerequisite, but perhaps a fortunate byproduct of shared labor and mutual respect, a quiet flame kindled in the crucible of necessity, a shocking truth that resonates with a quiet, undeniable power. The flickering firelight casts long, dancing shadows across the rough-hewn walls, and the low hum of conversation begins to lull you, a comforting, ancient rhythm that has echoed through these halls for centuries. You find a quiet spot, pulling a coarse wool blanket tighter around your shoulders, the scratchy texture a familiar companion, a tangible link to this distant past. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, you carry the weight of this understanding, that love, in its purest, most unvarnished form, was often forged not in romantic declarations, but in the shared struggle for existence, a shocking truth that resonates with a quiet, undeniable power. The low, resonant voices of the elders, still thick with the gravity of the Munder negotiations, now shift their focus, turning towards the bride's family, whose turn it is to present their own substantial contribution to this intricate, binding union. You feel a subtle change in the air, a slight easing of the tension, as if the scales of justice are slowly beginning to balance, each side now openly declaring their commitment to the future, a profound act of trust in a world of constant uncertainty. The flickering firelight dances across the rough-hewn faces, illuminating expressions of quiet pride and solemn responsibility, a stark contrast to the boisterous celebrations of modern engagements. This isn't just about two people, you realize, but about two powerful lineages intertwining, their destinies now inextricably linked by shared resources and mutual obligation, a profound truth that settles deep in your modern bones. Here you learn about the hemafilgia, a concept as practical as it is profound, representing the property the bride herself brought into the marriage from her own family, a tangible testament to her worth and enduring support. This wasn't merely a collection of wedding gifts, you quickly understand, no carefully curated registry of decorative trinkets, but rather her direct, invaluable contribution to the new household's assets, a solid foundation for their shared future. More importantly, it served as a crucial layer of personal security, a financial safety net in a world where individual vulnerability was a constant looming shadow, ensuring her standing and protection within her new family. Talk about a prenuptial agreement that truly had teeth. A stark reminder that survival often trumped sentiment in this unforgiving age. The haemophilia typically encompassed essential items, sturdy household goods, finely woven clothing, gleaming jewelry, and sometimes even fertile plots of land or robust livestock, each chosen for its enduring value and practical utility in the daily grind of Viking life. You imagine the soft rustle of coarse fabrics as bundles are presented, the satisfying thud of wooden chests being set down on the packed earth floor. Each item a silent promise of industry and prosperity. Unlike the munder, this dowry was explicitly designated as the wife's personal property, a legal distinction that offered her surprising autonomy and economic independence throughout the marriage, a quiet strength in a patriarchal society. This ancient legal nuance, you realize, is far more progressive than many modern assumptions about women's rights in the Viking Age. This crucial legal status meant the haemophilia remained unequivocally the wife's own, even in divorce, providing a vital economic buffer and a means to rebuild her life. A stark contrast to the precarious financial situations often faced by women in other historical periods. You can almost feel the rough texture of a finely carved wooden spoon, a tangible piece of her future, or see the glint of a bronze brooch catching the firelight, its intricate ancient design a silent testament to generations of craftsmanship. The chill of the wind off the sea, a constant, bracing presence even within the longhouse, serves as a stark reminder of the vast, untamed world outside, where such personal assets could mean the difference between survival and utter destitution. This wasn't just about possessions, it was about power, about agency, about a woman's ability to stand on her own 2 feet. So, basically, you muse with an internal wry chuckle, a Viking wedding was less about the romantic declaration of "I do," and more about a pragmatic, almost corporate pronouncement. I declare these assets to be merged, with the following exceptions for personal property, as meticulously outlined in this ancient unwritten contract. Your modern wedding registry, with its whimsical requests for artisanal coffee makers and designer towels, suddenly seems utterly frivolous, almost comically absurd, compared to the sheer practicality of a dowry that included a milking cow, a sturdy loom, or a fertile patch of land. Talk about a wedding gift that truly kept on giving, ensuring the survival and prosperity of the entire household. A far cry from the fleeting joy of a new kitchen gadget. With all these intricate legal and financial ties, these meticulously negotiated contracts binding families and fortunes for generations, you might naturally assume that divorce was an almost impossible feat, a concept utterly alien to this rigid, honor-bound society where oaths were sacred. You imagine the sheer complexity of unraveling such a dense web of obligations, the potential for bitter feuds and lasting animosity between powerful clans. A legal nightmare that would make modern divorce proceedings seem like a walk in the park. But here's where the Viking Age, in its surprising, often brutal wisdom, throws a truly unexpected curveball, revealing a facet of their legal system that is remarkably progressive, even by today's standards. As the discussions finally quiet down, and the last of the dowry items are carefully placed, you feel the day's profound lessons settle deep within your modern consciousness, a heavy yet strangely comforting weight,
like the familiar pressure of a well-worn leather strap. The flickering firelight casts long, dancing shadows across the rough-hewn walls, and the low hum of conversation begins to lull you, a comforting, ancient rhythm that has echoed through these halls for centuries, a timeless melody of human existence. You find a quiet spot, pulling a coarse wool blanket tighter around your shoulders, the scratchy texture a familiar companion, a tangible link to this distant past. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, you carry the weight of this understanding, that love in its purest, most unvarnished form was often forged not in romantic declarations, but in the shared struggle for existence, a shocking truth that resonates with a quiet, undeniable power. Later, you witness a dispute, voices rising in the communal hall, cutting through the usual low hum of daily life like a sharp, unexpected gust of wind. It is not a brawl you quickly discern, no clash of steel or angry shouts of physical violence, but something equally dramatic and far more unsettling, a declaration of separation, a public unraveling of vows that once bound two families together. The tension in the air is palpable, thick and heavy, like the pervasive smoke from the central fire, clinging to the rough-hewn timbers and the faces of the gathered villagers, each person a silent witness to this profound personal upheaval. The good news, you realize with a jolt of modern surprise, is that divorce was indeed possible, even for women, a legal right that feels remarkably progressive for the 10th century. The bad news, however, quickly becomes apparent, as the sharp, angry tones of the disputing parties cut through the longhouse, echoing off the packed earth floor and the ancient carved walls, revealing the messy reality of such a separation. It often involved incredibly public declarations, a stark contrast to the quiet, private dissolution of modern relationships, and could have significant, far-reaching impacts on family honor, alliances, and the delicate balance of power within the community. Divorce was a recognized legal process in Viking society, you learn, a formal procedure initiated by either husband or wife, a testament to a legal system that, while harsh, possessed a surprising degree of nuance. This required a public declaration before witnesses, often taking place at the couple's home, where the community could observe the proceedings, or sometimes even at a public assembly known as a thing, where legal matters were openly debated and resolved. Imagine the sheer weight of such a moment, the collective gaze of your entire world fixed upon you, as you articulate the reasons for the dissolution of your most intimate bond, a truly humbling experience. The tension in the air is palpable, thick like the wood smoke that perpetually hangs in the longhouse, a heavy blanket of unspoken judgment and quiet observation. The sharp, angry tones of the disputing parties cut through the usual murmur of conversations, the distant bleating of sheep, and the rhythmic crackle of the central fire, creating a jarring dissonance in the otherwise familiar symphony of daily life. You can almost taste the bitterness in the air, a metallic tang that mingles with the earthy scent of damp straw and the faint, musky aroma of unwashed bodies, a visceral reminder of the raw emotions on display. Forget conscious uncoupling, you muse with a wry internal chuckle, a modern euphemism for a carefully managed, often amicable separation. This was publicly shaming your spouse in front of the entire village, a far more direct and undeniably dramatic affair. Suddenly, your last breakup, with its tearful phone calls and awkward text messages, seems incredibly private and civilized, almost quaint, compared to the raw, unfiltered spectacle unfolding before your eyes. There are no lawyers to mediate, no therapists to guide, just the stark, unyielding judgment of your peers and the ancient laws of the land.
And the reasons for divorce, you discover, are perhaps the most surprising twist in this intricate tapestry of Viking law, revealing a society that, in some aspects, was astonishingly progressive for the 10th century. These weren't just arbitrary declarations, but specific, legally recognized grounds that offered a degree of agency and protection, particularly for women, in a world that often appears brutally patriarchal. The implications of these ancient freedoms begin to settle deep within your modern consciousness, a quiet, undeniable truth that resonates with a profound, almost shocking power.
You watch as the dispute slowly winds down, the voices gradually softening, the raw edges of anger beginning to dull, replaced by a weary resignation that hangs in the smoky air. The flickering firelight casts long, dancing shadows across the rough-hewn walls, and the low hum of conversation begins to lull you, a comforting, ancient rhythm that has echoed through these halls for centuries, a timeless melody of human existence. You find a quiet spot, pulling a coarse wool blanket tighter around your shoulders, the scratchy texture a familiar companion, a tangible link to this distant past. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, you carry the weight of this understanding, that even in a world defined by harsh realities and pragmatic alliances, the surprising laws of divorce offered a glimpse of unexpected freedom, a shocking truth that resonates with a quiet, undeniable power. Here's the kicker. A man's inability to perform his marital duties, or even his refusal to provide for his wife, were legitimate grounds for a woman to seek separation. Imagine that! A legal system where a woman could divorce her husband for not being man enough, or for failing to put food on the table. It's a stark contrast to many other historical periods, where women had virtually no recourse in unhappy marriages, often trapped by societal expectations and legal constraints. But it wasn't just about domestic shortcomings. Physical abuse was also a recognized reason for divorce, offering a crucial layer of protection in a brutal age. The good news? You could escape a violent spouse. The bad news? You still had to live in a society where such violence was a constant threat, and your public declaration might not guarantee your safety. There were no restraining orders, no safe houses, just the cold, hard judgment of the community and the strength of your own kin. You ponder the sheer courage it must have taken for a woman to stand before her community and declare her marriage null, risking social ostracization and economic instability. The chill of the night air seeps into your bones, a subtle reminder of the harsh realities that underpinned even these surprising freedoms. Yet, in that public act, there was a raw, undeniable power, a testament to a spirit that refused to be entirely subjugated, a quiet rebellion against the expected norms of a warrior society. You lean closer, straining to hear the hushed yet sharp reasons for this public separation, a profound unraveling of vows that once bound not just two individuals, but entire families, their fortunes meticulously intertwined through the Munder and Heimafylgja. What could possibly be grounds for ending such a carefully constructed alliance? A union forged in the crucible of survival and strategic necessity, where every bond held the weight of generations. The pervasive scent of wood smoke, thick and comforting like a heavy wool blanket, now seems to carry an undercurrent of tension, a subtle metallic tang of unspoken judgment that prickles your senses. Here's the kicker, a truth that settles deep in your modern bones. A woman in this brutal, pragmatic age possessed surprising legal leverage,
a shocking freedom that many of her counterparts in other historical periods could only dream of. She could divorce her husband for impotence, a direct challenge to his very masculinity and ability to ensure the continuation of the family line, or for the deeply humiliating act of wearing women's clothes, a public insult to his honor. Even more astonishingly, she could seek separation if he dared to strike her, a testament to a legal system that, in some aspects, was remarkably progressive for the 10th century. Talk about a prenuptial agreement with teeth, where a woman's dignity and physical safety were legally recognized. These specific, legally recognized grounds for divorce are not mere folklore, you quickly learn, but are meticulously documented in the ancient Icelandic sagas and comprehensive law codes, offering a rare glimpse into the nuanced complexities of Viking justice. While a woman had these surprising avenues for recourse, a husband also possessed his own grounds for dissolving the marital bond, typically for infidelity, a betrayal of the household's trust and lineage, or if his wife abandoned the household without his explicit permission, disrupting the delicate balance of labor and survival. This wasn't about fleeting emotions, but about the pragmatic realities of maintaining a functional, productive household in a harsh world. The rough scratch of your coarse wool tunic against your arm as you instinctively shift, trying to get a better view of the unfolding drama, serves as a constant, tangible reminder of your physical presence in this distant past. Outside the longhouse, the distant, mournful bleating of sheep, a sound as ancient as the earth itself, offers a stark, almost poetic contrast to the raw human drama unfolding before you, a poignant reminder of the cyclical rhythms of life and death that govern this world. The earthy scent of damp straw beneath your feet mingles with the faint, musky aroma of unwashed bodies and the ever-present wood smoke, creating a visceral tapestry of smells that defines this era. So, you muse with an internal wry chuckle, if your Viking husband decided to raid your wardrobe and show up at the thing in your finest linen dress, you could literally kick him to the curb, legally and publicly. Take that, rigid gender norms and patriarchal expectations. Imagine the sheer audacity, the quiet rebellion inherent in such a legal provision. A subtle yet powerful subversion of what you might expect from a society often depicted as solely focused on brute strength and conquest. It's a far cry from modern relationship woes, where a fashion faux pas might earn a raised eyebrow, not a legal separation. While formal marriage, with its intricate contracts and surprising divorce clauses, certainly had its meticulously defined rules, the lines of love and partnership in the Viking Age were often far blurrier, more fluid, and undeniably more complex than you're used to in your own time. This wasn't a world of clear-cut romantic ideals, but a pragmatic landscape where necessity often dictated the shape of relationships, where emotional bonds could form outside the strictures of legal matrimony. The concept of a soulmate was a luxury, while a reliable partner in survival was an absolute, undeniable necessity. You feel the weight of this public declaration, the raw emotional intensity of a bond being severed, reverberating through the communal space. A stark reminder that even with legal recourse, such separations were rarely easy or without profound consequence. The whispers among the gathered villagers, a low, guttural murmur, speak volumes about the societal implications, the shifting alliances, and the potential for lingering feuds that could ripple through the community for years to come. This wasn't just a personal matter. It was a communal event, a public renegotiation of social order.
Forget the carefully curated narratives of conscious uncoupling or the quiet, private dissolution of modern relationships, often mediated by lawyers and therapists, designed to minimize public spectacle. This was a raw, unfiltered display of marital breakdown, a public shaming that served as both a legal declaration and a powerful social statement, leaving no room for ambiguity or polite pretense. The sheer audacity of such a public act, the courage it demanded from both parties, particularly the woman, is a truth that resonates with a quiet, undeniable power. As the last echoes of the dispute fade into the low hum of the longhouse, you find yourself contemplating the profound differences in how societies define and dissolve their most intimate bonds, a philosophical reflection that settles deep in your modern consciousness. The flickering firelight casts long, dancing shadows across the rough-hewn walls, illuminating the ancient carvings that seem to silently bear witness to centuries of human drama, of love and loss, of unions forged and broken. The chill of the night air, a constant bracing presence, reminds you of the harsh realities that underpinned even these surprising freedoms, a world where every comfort was hard-won. You pull the coarse wool blanket tighter around your shoulders, the scratchy texture a familiar companion, a tangible link to this distant past. As the sounds of the Viking village begin to soften, replaced by the gentle lapping of water against the wooden gates of a canal lock, you are the lock tender, finishing your evening shift, the oiled gears of the sluice creaking softly as you balance the logs, noting the tolls from the last twilight barge. Low murmurs from passing crews drift across the water, a soothing, ancient rhythm that has echoed through these halls for centuries, a timeless melody of human existence. As the last echoes of the divorce dispute fade into the low hum of the longhouse, leaving behind a lingering tension that still prickles the smoky air, your gaze drifts across the communal space. You notice a man, a familiar face from the village, openly interacting with a woman who is clearly not his legal wife. Yet she is acknowledged, her presence accepted without a ripple of overt judgment from those around them. This isn't a clandestine affair hidden in the shadows. It is an openly acknowledged arrangement, a subtle yet profound deviation from the strictures of formal marriage that you have just unraveled. While marriage, with its intricate contracts and surprising divorce clauses, was indeed a formal, legally binding agreement, you quickly realize that concubinage was also a common and accepted part of Viking Age society. The lines of love and partnership here were far blurrier, more fluid, and undeniably more complex than the clear-cut monogamous expectations you are accustomed to in your own time. Social norms were surprisingly adaptable, bending to the pragmatic realities of survival and the intricate web of human relationships in a world that offered few easy answers. These secondary partners, often referred to as frilla, were typically women of lower social status, perhaps thralls or free women without significant family wealth or influence. Their unions, while not legally recognized as formal marriages, still held a certain social standing, a pragmatic acknowledgement of their role within the household and community. Here's the kicker. The children born of these unions were often acknowledged by the father, a testament to the importance of lineage and manpower. Though they typically had fewer inheritance rights than children born within a formal, legally sanctioned marriage. The pervasive scent of fermented foods, a constant earthy reminder of the practicalities of life, drifts from the storage areas, mingling with the ever-present wood smoke and the musky aroma of unwashed bodies. It is a smell that grounds you in this ancient reality, a visceral connection to the daily struggle for sustenance that shaped every aspect of existence. The low murmur of conversations around you continues, accepting of this arrangement, a stark contrast to the hushed whispers and societal disapproval that might accompany such a situation in your modern world, highlighting the vast cultural chasm you have traversed. So, you muse with an internal wry chuckle. Basically, the Viking Age had its own version of It's Complicated on Facebook, but with significantly more livestock involved and far higher stakes for inheritance and social standing. Forget the carefully curated public image. Here, relationships were often about practicality, about alliances, and about the sheer necessity of building a strong household regardless of the formal legalities. It's a truth that settles deep in your modern bones, a quiet, undeniable revelation about the surprising fluidity of ancient social structures. This complex tapestry of relationships, where formal contracts intertwined with informal unions, makes you reflect deeply on what love truly meant in this harsh, yet surprisingly nuanced world. Was it the passionate, romantic ideal celebrated in your own time? Or was it a more pragmatic, enduring bond forged in shared labor, mutual respect, and the collective struggle for survival? The answer, you realize, is likely a blend of both, a spectrum of human connection shaped by the relentless demands of a brutal age. As the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of deep orange and purple, you feel the day's exhaustion settle deep in your bones, a familiar ache that has become a constant companion in this distant past. You've navigated a world where love was often a luxury and marriage a necessity, where the lines between formal and informal partnerships were drawn with a different kind of ink. The sounds of the Viking village begin to soften, replaced by the gentle lapping of water against the wooden gates of a canal lock, a soothing, ancient rhythm that has echoed through these halls for centuries. You are the lock tender, finishing your evening shift, the oiled gears of the sluice creaking softly as you balance the logs, noting the tolls from the last twilight barge. Low murmurs from passing crews drift across the water, a comforting, almost hypnotic sound that lulls your weary mind. You secure the gatehouse, the familiar click of the latch, a small, comforting sound in the encroaching darkness, and set a kettle on the coals, watching the moon rise, a silent sentinel over the placid canal. The good news? You've gained a profound appreciation for the intricate social dynamics of a bygone era, a deeper understanding of how human connection adapts to its environment. The bad news? You're still a bit confused about the exact legal standing of a frilla's third cousin twice removed in a land dispute. It's a legal labyrinth that makes modern tax codes look like a children's picture book. Here's the kicker. Despite all the differences, the core human desires for companionship, security, and belonging remain strikingly constant across the millennia. Whether through formal vows or informal arrangements, Vikings, like us, sought to navigate the unpredictable currents of life with someone by their side. The methods might have been different, but the underlying emotional landscape was surprisingly familiar, a testament to the enduring nature of the human heart. So tonight, when you slip into your clean bed, under soft sheets, in a quiet room, remember the Viking Age. Remember the harsh realities, the surprising freedoms, and the sheer grit it took to find a partner, build a family, and simply survive, even when the definitions of partner and family were far more expansive than you might expect. And be grateful for the simple, shocking comforts of your own time, where the complexities of love are often navigated with far less livestock and significantly more privacy. As the sun begins its slow descent, painting the sky in hues of deep orange and vibrant purple,
You feel the day's profound exhaustion settle deep in your bones. A familiar ache that has become a constant companion in this distant, demanding past. You have navigated a world where love was often a luxury, a pleasant bonus, and marriage an undeniable necessity, a fundamental pillar of survival in a landscape that offered no quarter. This was a life without dating apps, without prenuptial agreements, without even a clean, private space to call your own. A stark contrast to the quiet comforts of your modern existence. While romantic love undoubtedly existed, a tender spark that could ignite even in the harshest conditions, it was often secondary to the pragmatic considerations of economic stability, social standing, and the crucial forging of family alliances. Survival dictated many choices, shaping relationships into strategic partnerships, where mutual benefit and collective strength were prized above all else. A truth that resonates with a quiet, undeniable force. The very fabric of society was woven with these practical threads, making every union a matter of communal importance, not just personal preference. The biting cold of the evening air now begins to creep in, a stark, invigorating contrast to the lingering warmth of the longhouse fire, which still casts dancing shadows across the rough-hewn walls. You can hear the distant rhythmic clang of a blacksmith's hammer, a sound that has echoed through these valleys for centuries, now fading into the twilight, replaced by the softer murmurs of a village settling down for the night. The earthy scent of damp straw beneath your feet mingles with the ever-present wood smoke, creating a visceral tapestry of smells that defines this ancient era.
Your biggest relationship drama in your own time might involve a text left on read, or a minor disagreement over dinner plans, a fleeting inconvenience in a world of endless choices. Theirs, however, involved public declarations before the entire community, the intricate negotiation of bride prices and dowries, and the very real, terrifying threat of a family feud erupting over a broken promise or a perceived slight. Talk about high stakes, where honor and lineage were meticulously guarded, and every word carried the weight of steel. As the sounds of the Viking village begin their slow, gentle fade, replaced by the soft, rhythmic lapping of water against the wooden gates of a canal lock, a new, more peaceful scene emerges, drawing you gently back to your own time. You are the lock tender, finishing your evening shift, the oiled gears of the sluice creaking softly as you balance the logs, noting the tolls from the last twilight barge. Low murmurs from passing crews drift across the water, a comforting, almost hypnotic sound that lulls your weary mind, a timeless melody of human endeavor. You secure the gatehouse, the familiar click of the latch a small, comforting sound in the encroaching darkness, and set a kettle on the coals, watching the moon rise, a silent sentinel over the placid canal. So tonight, when you slip into your clean bed, under soft sheets, in a quiet room, remember the Viking Age. Remember the harsh realities, the surprising freedoms, and the sheer grit it took to find a partner, build a family, and simply survive, even when the definitions of partner and family were far more expansive than you might expect. And be grateful for the simple, shocking comforts of your own time, where the complexities of love are often navigated with far less livestock and significantly more privacy. You might scroll endlessly through profiles, seeking that perfect match, agonizing over the right emoji, or wondering if your witty opening line landed.
Imagine instead your entire community weighing in on your marital prospects, your family's honor tied to your choice, and the very real possibility of a blood feud if things went sideways. Suddenly, swiping left doesn't seem so dramatic, does it? Here's the kicker. While you fret over compatibility quizzes and shared hobbies, their unions were often forged in the crucible of necessity, yet frequently blossomed into deep, enduring partnerships. There was a raw, unfiltered honesty to their arrangements, a clear understanding of roles and responsibilities that, for all its harshness, often provided a stable foundation. No endless guessing games, just the stark, undeniable truth of shared survival. You secure the gatehouse, the familiar click of the latch a small, comforting sound in the approaching darkness, and set a kettle on the coals, watching the moon rise, a silent sentinel over the placid canal. So tonight, when you slip into your clean bed, under soft sheets, in a quiet room, remember the Viking Age. Remember the harsh realities, the surprising freedoms, and the sheer grit it took to find a partner, build a family, and simply survive, even when the definitions of partner and family were far more expansive than you might expect. And be grateful for the simple, shocking comforts of your own time, where the complexities of love are often navigated with far less livestock and significantly more privacy. You might scroll endlessly through profiles, seeking that perfect match, agonizing over the right emoji, or wondering if your witty opening line landed. Imagine instead your entire community weighing in on your marital prospects, your family's honor tied to your choice, and the very real possibility of a blood feud if things went sideways. Suddenly, swiping left doesn't seem so dramatic, does it? Here's the kicker. While you fret over compatibility quizzes and shared hobbies, their unions were often forged in the crucible of necessity, yet frequently blossomed into deep, enduring partnerships. There was a raw, unfiltered honesty to their arrangements, a clear understanding of roles and responsibilities that, for all its harshness, often provided a stable foundation. No endless guessing games, just the stark, undeniable truth of shared survival. The good news? You have the freedom to choose, to love for love's sake, to build a life with someone based purely on affection and mutual respect. The bad news? That very freedom can sometimes feel like an overwhelming burden, a dizzying array of options that can lead to paralysis. Or worse, a constant nagging doubt about whether you've truly found the one. They had fewer choices, but perhaps a clearer path. As the last embers in your kettle glow, casting a warm, flickering light across your small, secure room, you can almost taste the difference in the air. No lingering scent of wood smoke and damp earth, but the clean, crisp aroma of your own home. No distant shouts of a raiding party, but the gentle hum of your refrigerator, a symphony of modern convenience. This quiet solitude, this personal sanctuary, would have been an unimaginable luxury. You reflect on the sheer emotional intensity of their lives, where every decision, especially those concerning family and partnership, carried immense weight and consequence. Love, when it did bloom, must have been a fierce, resilient thing, forged in the fires of hardship and loyalty. It wasn't just a feeling. It was a pact, a promise, a lifeline in a world that demanded unwavering strength. So, as you drift closer to sleep, let the echoes of the Viking Age remind you of the profound privilege of your own era, the ability to define your own love story, to choose your partner without the shadow of a bride price or a blood feud, to simply exist in peace and privacy. It's a shocking contrast, isn't it? A testament to how far we've come, and perhaps a gentle nudge to appreciate the quiet, revolutionary power of modern love.
The distant, guttural sounds of the Viking village, once so immediate and overwhelmingly real, now begin their slow, gentle fade, dissolving like mist into the cool, crisp night air, replaced by the soft, rhythmic lapping of water against the sturdy wooden gates of a canal lock. You find yourself standing on the damp, cool stone, the familiar, comforting weight of your responsibilities settling comfortably upon your shoulders, as you realize with a quiet jolt of recognition that you are indeed the lock tender, finishing your peaceful, solitary evening shift. The pervasive scent of wood smoke, damp earth, and unwashed bodies from that ancient, demanding world has completely vanished, replaced by the invigorating, clean aroma of fresh water and the subtle, metallic tang of oiled machinery, a truly modern perfume. This sudden, almost jarring shift back to your own time brings a profound sense of relief, a quiet, undeniable gratitude for the simple yet utterly luxurious comforts of the contemporary world you now inhabit. The oiled gears of the sluice creak softly, a mechanical lullaby that gently soothes your still reeling mind, as you meticulously balance the heavy logs, guiding them through the narrow passage with practiced, almost meditative ease, a testament to years of quiet dedication. You carefully note the tolls from the last twilight barge, its silhouette a dark, fleeting shadow against the deepening, star-dusted sky, a routine task that grounds you firmly in the present moment, far removed from ancient anxieties and the constant struggle for survival. Low murmurs from passing crews drift across the placid water, their voices a comforting, modern hum that speaks of commerce and quiet journeys, a stark, welcome contrast to the shouts of raiding parties or the urgent, desperate calls of a Viking longhouse. This rhythmic, predictable work offers a profound, soothing balm to a mind still grappling with the raw intensity of a bygone era, a gentle, undeniable reminder of order, peaceful progress, and the quiet dignity of labor. With a satisfying, familiar click, the sturdy latch of the gatehouse secures firmly into place. A small but profoundly significant sound of completion and undeniable safety that echoes softly in the encroaching darkness, sealing away the day's duties and responsibilities. This simple, almost unconscious act, locking away the day's demands, brings a profound sense of peace, a quiet assurance that your world is ordered, protected, and entirely your own, a personal sanctuary from the outside world. There are no lurking threats of blood feuds, no urgent calls to arms, no unexpected raids here. Only the gentle hum of distant city lights and the soft, reassuring whisper of the night wind through the canal-side trees. A symphony of modern tranquility. You are truly home, in a sanctuary built on centuries of progress, far removed from the constant vigilance and communal, often stifling, living of the smoky longhouse. The cool, damp air of the canal now wraps around you like a soft, invisible blanket, carrying the clean, invigorating scent of fresh water, mingling subtly with the rich, earthy aroma of oiled wood from the massive lock gates. A truly unique perfume of modern industry and nature. Above, the soft, ethereal glow of the rising moon emerges from behind a veil of wispy, fast-moving clouds.
a silent, ancient sentinel casting its silvery, tranquil light across the placid, dark surface of the water, illuminating your path with a gentle guiding hand. The gentle rustle of leaves in the nearby trees provides a natural, calming soundtrack. A world away from the bleating of sheep, the rhythmic clang of a blacksmith's hammer, and the guttural conversations of a bustling Viking settlement. Every exquisite detail of this peaceful, quiet evening reinforces the profound, almost miraculous shift you have experienced. A quiet symphony of modern tranquility that settles deep within your soul. The good news, you muse with a wry internal chuckle that barely escapes your lips, is that you are no longer waking up on a pile of scratchy, flea-ridden straw, your spine creaking like an old wooden door. Nor are you surrounded by the musky aroma of unwashed bodies and last night's fermented, questionable stew. The bad news? Well, there isn't really any bad news to speak of. Just the quiet, deep satisfaction of a job well done, and the blissful, undeniable promise of a clean, comfortable rest in your own private, undisturbed space. A luxury beyond Viking dreams. Talk about a dramatic, almost unbelievable upgrade from a communal longhouse, where privacy was a foreign concept and personal hygiene a daily, often losing battle against the relentless, unforgiving elements. Your modern bed, with its soft sheets, quiet solitude, and supportive memory foam, now feels like an unimaginable luxury. A truly shocking comfort that you will never again take for granted, not after what you've experienced. So tonight, as you finally slip into your clean bed, under the soft, inviting sheets, in the quiet, undisturbed sanctuary of your own room, let the echoes of the Viking Age gently remind you of a profound, undeniable truth. Remember the harsh, unyielding realities that shaped every aspect of life, the surprising freedoms women sometimes possessed, and the sheer, unshakable grit it took to find a partner, build a family, and simply survive against overwhelming, often brutal odds, a testament to human resilience. Be deeply grateful for the simple yet utterly shocking comforts of your time, where love can truly be a choice, not just a necessity, and where peace is a given, not a constant, desperate struggle for existence, a privilege easily overlooked. Let the echoes of that distant, demanding past deepen your appreciation for the quiet revolution of your present. A world where your love story is truly your own, written with freedom, comfort, and an abundance of personal space.